3 authors, 3 books, 3 writing tips.
The book I'm sharing with you today is Dot to Dot in the Sky, Stories of the Aurora. This is part of a 6-book series, Dot to Dot in the Sky, that partners sky science with storytelling. So I like to talk about what you can see in the night sky, and I also like to know the stories that ancient cultures and early peoples first told to explain these mysterious things they saw in the night sky. Imagine what it was like for early peoples to see the northern lights and look up, or ancient cultures. They might have said, "What's going on? What are all those lights in the sky? Why are they dancing around and rippling? What does this mean? Could it be an omen? Is it a sign? Is it a good sign or a bad sign?" And they told stories from around the world. People told stories explaining the northern lights. And so this book has a collection of stories, but it also has the science of what's going on between solar winds from the sun and the Earth's magnetic field, which help explain the northern lights in our sky. When I write a book, I have something that I always do after I write a sentence, and that's my writing tip for you today is something that you might want to do as well. Do what authors do. After you write a sentence and you think, "I'm done," go back and make it better. Ask yourself, first of all, does this sentence make sense? Could a stranger read this sentence and get what I'm saying? Because that's important. After your sentence definitely makes sense, go back to the beginning again, and this time say, have I used interesting words? I don't want to write a boring sentence or a boring paragraph or a boring book, right? I want it to be interesting. I've got to use powerful, descriptive words. So go back to the beginning and see if you can replace some of your words with stronger words. And this is a completely normal process. Authors don't write perfect sentences first try and get them put in books. We go back to the beginning over and over again, making our words just right. So after we have sentences that make sense and have good, interesting, descriptive words, then we're going to go back and we're going to make sure we've got our capital letters in the right place and periods and apostrophes and commas and all those things, words spelt correctly, everything in the right place, and keep going back to the beginning over and over again until your sentence is as good as you can make it. It's fun.
Hi everyone, the book that I'm introducing today is Just 3, and it is a funny book, and it's like a modern day Parent Trap. There's twins in the story, and they just want their dad to be happy. The back flap of the book, I'll read just a tiny bit of it, says, before Rory and Jillian's mother died 2 years ago, she hired Rebecca to be the family housekeeper. But Rebecca's a terrible cook, and not so great at housework either. One day, Jillian catches her father flirting with Rebecca and decides it's time to get him a girlfriend. The twins create a profile on an online dating site, and they convince their dad to go on 3 dates. Each date is more disastrous than the last. Well, Rory and Jillian manage to find their dad, the perfect match. Writing tip for today. Ideas come from everywhere. And for this book, the idea came to me when somebody said, my dad used to date a woman with chickens, and all I could see was the scene in my head of this chicken attacking somebody. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take that. And then I worked around it, and I looked at who's the characters going to be? What's the plot going to be? Where's the setting? And the setting, of course, for that scene was already there, but then I had to create everything else to come up with a novel. And yes, that scene is in the middle of the book. Thank you very much for joining me. That was your writing tip of the day. And the writing tip is, ideas come from everywhere.
My new book is called Taking the Lead. I wrote it for kids who are 8 or 9 up to about 13 or 14 years old. And it's about a boy named Jonas who is a runner. And Jonas absolutely lives to run. It's his favorite thing to do. And he's the team captain of his junior high track and field team. Unfortunately, Jonas runs into a little bit of trouble. And as a result, he gets pulled from the track team, and he is devastated because he had really high hopes for the final championship track meet in his city, which is Edmonton. And so Jonas is devastated that he's been pulled off of the team. He does, however, find that he gets another opportunity to earn his way back onto the team. And I think that's all I'm going to tell you about the book, but I will just say that when I wrote Taking the Lead, something that I kept in mind while I was writing it is just a reminder to myself that you have to get your main character in a whole lot of trouble when you're writing stories. And in real life, obviously, it's not such a good thing to do. You really don't want to go around getting people in trouble. But when you write books or stories, you really have to get your main character in a lot of trouble, because part of the fun for readers when they're reading your book is to see how that main character or the protagonist is going to get themselves out of trouble. So when I wrote Taking the Lead, I got Jonas in trouble with his teammates, with his track and field coach, with his principal, and I hope you'll have a read. I hope you'll enjoy finding out how Jonas gets himself out of those situations. And I also hope when you're writing your stories that that's a tip that will help you as well.